Hey folks, this is Saul, and welcome back to Warcraft Weekly, the show that, despite best efforts and a hot box of copium, can't deny what has happened. Dragonflight is ruined. What a shame, right? I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was great up until this week. It revolutionized world building with vertical landscapes and dragon riding, challenged players to make critical decisions and understand the markets to be successful crafters. It got rid of borrowed power, let us straight upgrade gear, a ton of activities to do, more account-wide stuff, a button to interact with objects and gather materials, and all of it is ruined because of a $5 bundle that nobody wanted and everyone hates. Yeah, that's right, we've gone all the way from Dragonflight to Drag on Fail. Say it with me now, boo. This week did turn out to be a great week for Transmog collectors though, with a new trading post month that included a lot of different items, some of which you don't care for, but there have been a lot of social media reactions leaning toward, holy moly, I'm broke on Tender. If only I could buy some from the shop. What I think is the most important item this month is this one, the Ethereal Transmogrifier. Going for 500 Tender, it spawns an NPC that lets you change your transmog. It lasts for 10 minutes, it has a 10-minute cooldown, and can be used just about anywhere, including indoors. Now here's why it's important. Unless I'm mistaken, this is the first item from the trading post that has actual utility. It does something that makes life in WoW more convenient for you. How did we access transmog before this week? Well, you went to the NPC in a capital city, or you hopped onto your Grand Expedition Yak, which you can buy for like a little over 100,000 gold. You can use the deployable attire arranger. That's an engineering consumable that lasts for 2 minutes. But now that this thing's on the trading post, anyone can get access to transmog with just the push of a button. Of course, you still need to pay transmog fees, but no hearthing back to town anymore. There's no need to buy a yak that can be only used where mounting is allowed, or having to craft and buy an engineering item. This is pretty neat, although I'm sure there's grumbling from some engineers who are like, hey, I don't feel special anymore. This is also important because with the introduction of this particular item, we've got our foot in the door for other items that could come to the trading post that offer up some utility. Now, personally, I was hoping for new emotes to come in, but you know what? I'll settle for a, deployable barbershop. How about an anvil? And of course, how about an auction house on a dinosaur that's 10 elves long and 3 trolls high with 13 meters of Zandalar pride? Brutus, oh! That would be a cool thing to look forward to. But today the game is literally ruined thanks to a bundle that's been put out for a few cosmetics and 200 trading tender to go with it. You might hate this, and some affirmation for you, it's totally okay. But let's also step back a bit and try to understand why this really shouldn't be a surprise. And no, it's not because of the data mine image of tender values that we saw a little while ago. Let's go back. Let's go all the way back to February of this year when the trading post first opened up. The WoW team said that they would be giving people who bought Dragonflight 500 bonus tender as kind of an introductory promo, a thank you for participating, they called it. But you know what else that's called? A bundle, and it's as plain as day. Slippery slope, dude, we've had this tender bundle almost all year. I mean, okay, maybe folks just kind of forgot about it because the expansion box isn't exactly an optional purchase. Fair enough. But who knows, what if the next expansion only includes like some tender bundle for the heroic and mythic versions of this expansion box, and then people are going to say that they got shafted out of whatever tender to cash conversion amount was lost. Early July came the data mine images, followed by statements from the WoW team that no, tender will not be a direct purchase, and the negative community reaction to the very idea of players being able to buy traders tender has been heard, quote, loud and clear. The overwhelming majority of tender every month is earned logging in and claiming it and doing a wide array of activities to claim the rest. And that's not something we're looking to change or subvert or upend, end quote. During this past July and this month in August, we got some bonus tender for these months for no reason at all. There's no catch, there's no weirdness to it other than, A, you need to actually be here for it. It's a planned promotion and another demonstration that the WoW team can and will continue to provide extra tender through a variety of ways, sometimes stacking them. I bet you it won't be long until we start seeing Twitch drops for tender and Prime Gaming giveaways to round out like the way that WoW has been giving all their stuff away. It's not guaranteed, but it's reasonable enough to expect because, well, we're going to run out of TCG and Recruiter Friend items eventually. It just happened that we're seeing the paid bundle now. Throughout social media and forums and in the comments below, you know those are always a treat, you're going to see people with critical breakdowns of how WoW's done us dirty. What if there's a bundle every month, making it basically cost $20 a sub for the extra tender? How about this and that conspiracy over price trends increasing in the trading post, what it all means to keep you subbed, how this is a few more bucks in Bobby Kotick's pockets. Basically, people are just trying to keep you angry because, believe it or not, these psychological loops around hate clicks are very profitable too. It's a choose your grift situation, and I am here to make it all boring. At the end of the day, past all the bluster from our soapboxes, mine included, it all gets boiled down to what is a very simple decision. You buy the thing, or you don't. There's no end of season, there's no gotta get gladiator or 0.1% source of urgency. Personally, I don't see FOMO with this bundle or the Mog outfit that's going to eventually go onto the trading post, although you can buy it now for 15 bucks. I do like the corsages, I have to admit, and I hope that someday the WoW team makes it so that we can transmog individual gloves, so I can show mine off, or better yet, make it show over the gloves, or even better, just go with both. As for the Mog set, I admit that I bought it blindly, not knowing that it was going to be on the trading post, and then after a closer look at it, I was like, and I refunded it. No muss, no fuss. It was very unexciting, and that's all this is really. I don't want to feel left out with the fear mongering though. I am going to draw a line behind this idea, behind making any single item on the trading post cost more than 1,000 tender. Don't ever do that, Blitz. If there is a situation where I happen to have 0 tender going into the new month, and there's an item that I can only buy if I happen to either not buy anything and wait till the next month, or buy the monthly tender bundle or whatever, my tone's gonna change. It just so happens that I'm a get mad about a video game when it's actually happening sort of person. It's one thing to lament the days of when an impressive looking set on a player meant that they were good at the game. And it's not so unreasonable to say that big company is trying to nickel and dime us at every turn, but on the other hand, well, you can and move on. Just before patch 10.15 launched, I reported that for some reason queuing up for Sanctum of Domination was possible to do from the Raid Finder window, and I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be a thing. When the patch did go live, it was actually a thing for a while before it was hot fixed out. It was presumably a bug. But the so-called bug returned this week, allowing folks to queue up for Castle Nathria via menu, and I'm like, dude, that ain't no bug. That's a quality of life win, the way that I see it. We've seen this pattern of moving on from raids, but the raids aren't very solo friendly, not even Raid Finder difficulty because of certain mechanics. For example, getting mind controlled by Mithrax within a few seconds. Yes, we could always make a group in the group finder, but this quote bug skips the hassle, and it gets the system to bring people together. Leaving something like this, it sates our appetites while we impatiently wait for the WoW team to make the raids as a whole, not just a Raid Finder, more solo friendly. I propose that each week Raid Finder choose like 2 kind of random queueable raids for people to dive into. You might as well see what happens. It's already kind of accidentally happening anyway. Moving on to the 10.17 PTR, this week's build is pretty light, but it's adding some polish to the Dream Surge zone feature. Things are still bound to change, but the high-level overview is that Dream Surges are going to enhance world quests and rares, and also add an invasion-like event to the affected zones. There are also zone buffs with which to lay waste to pretty much everything in the zone. You'll be able to collect and buy veteran gear tokens that you can trade across the account, and also champion tokens that are tradable across the account again, and you can use those to buy champion level gear of your choice. I'll have another closer look at in the next few days, but it sure looks like with each patch, the WoW team is laying down the groundwork for less competitive players and alts to progress their characters' gear throughout the season as opposed to waiting until the next tier or season, and then boom, 30 item level increase. I happen to like the gradual feel of it, but what are your thoughts? On the transmog side of things, a huge win for lovers of goggles. Engineering goggles are notoriously exclusive to the profession, and as it turns out, the WoW team is going to change that with a new achievement coming in this patch. By crafting each of the goggles from the different expansion eras, you can earn multiple achievements that unlock all of the color tints as cosmetic options, meaning that 1, all the color appearances are accessible regardless of your armor type, and 2, non-engineers can wear goggles too. It's not going to be easy though. There are a lot of goggles, which means lots of relevant old world materials that engineers are going to want that you may be able to monetize. That's the show, and I gotta comment just a little bit more, okay, maybe a lot more on this whole shop thing. I understand the anger. There's no defending the indefensible. I mean, after all, it's just a thing on the store, you get it or not. But as someone who steps back and tries to listen before preaching incessantly, this is just one of the many kinds of discourse that we've been hearing in just this past month. Like, we've got folks up in arms over expensive tier 3 vendor materials, which you can get as a drop, by the way, and in the next patch you can trade those across the account, meaning your alt farming just got that much more viable. On the other side of that, you got folks pissed off that their hard work at getting the original tier 3 back in the day or via the black market auction house is being compromised. There were tons of complaints over both how fast and slow it was to farm up time rift rewards. Some folks are mad about the buyable tender bundle, while others are mad that the tender can't just be infinitely bought, and said almost nothing about the free bonus tender I noticed. They want more things to collect on a regular basis, but hey Blizz, why are you forcing us to stay subbed with the endless things to collect? Give it all to us at once. Which they sort of did at the start of Shadowlands, laying everything down with Covenant appearances, and yet others complained that it was too overwhelming, that they should have paced how much was released so players could feel like they completed their collections for a little while from season to season, and the wheel just keeps turning. I get that I'm jumping across all these different perspectives, that no one is thinking all of these things simultaneously, but in the discourse of a game like World of Warcraft with such a wide array of preferences and responses, I do not envy this WoW team at all. They do a thing and 30% of its players get super pissed for perfectly good reasons. For every fix that you or I might propose, we're gonna see people from all over tell us how wrong we are, except for the interact key. That one was a winner. There's zero indication that the WoW team would abandon entire swaths of its audience by appealing to specific tastes, but my last question to you today is, should they? And if so, how would you want the game, quote, improved, regardless of how players feel? So I'm talking about crazy stuff, like removing multiple raid difficulties, or like removing raiding altogether. How about taking out the WoW token, or making real money transactions like a legit thing that players can do? Or just make the whole damn game free to play and go nuts with the cash shop? I'm curious what you folks got to say, but now let's give thanks to our lovely folks over on Twitch, to Taliesin for regularly bringing folks over to meet me. I appreciate that. To our awesome patrons, including Sirio, thanks a ton for your support, and to you, viewer, you made it to the end and the algorithm is pleased. Expect some more coverage on what we can expect from 10.17. Maybe we'll check out some more Baldur's Gate 3 adventures on stream, but whatever the case, I hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more coverage. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.